All right, how we doing? Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed the festival this weekend. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. The world will soon celebrate Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day, and I have cerebral palsy, so I'm very aware of it. It's a brain disorder that affects the muscles. It mostly affects my lower extremities. Hi-oh. No wonder I walk with a limp. It affected my hand gestures too, like I can't tell someone peace without looking all alien-like. And I can't flip someone off though, looking like I'm gonna stab them. And it affected me socially too, like you probably had a cool nickname on the playground, like Big Bad Tony or Knuckles. Mine was Helmet Boy. But on the plus side, having cerebral palsy means that I never get offended when someone says, "Hey, what are you getting all bent out of shape for?" I'm like, oh, no reason, I was just born that way. You ever get reminders from the universe of where you're at in life, whether you want to or not? Like, I was in the frozen pizza aisle recently. I picked out one and it said right on the box, and I'm not making this up, "I'm single." And I just looked at it and I went, "Me too, pizza. Me too." But I am single. That's about the reaction that deserves. And a lot of factors went into my last breakup, but one of them had to be my OCD, because she'd be like, "Baby, when we finally do have sex, you're going to be amazing." And she'd be like, "Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to do it like 7 times. And I was like, "Oh, that's an odd number." I love you to death, but we just bump it up to 8. I turned 34 this year, and it's just a really weird and confusing time, not unlike what we're experiencing now, although I hate to make that comparison. Like if 24-year-old me went to go get a massage from a hot chick, at the end of it, he'd be like, was it as good for you as it was for me? 34-year-old me would go to get the same massage from a hot chick, and he'd be like, can you make it so that I won't have a copay next time? And especially in the time of COVID, we're all experiencing our own version of rock bottom. And I don't know if that's happened to me yet, unless rock bottom is making something in an air fryer and eating it out of the air fryer. Like the true wild child that I am. Ooga booga booga, ladies. Yeah, I didn't think that would go over well either. I went to a community college, so I guess you could say I reached for the sky's limit. And our mascot was the Reavers. It was a kind of pirate that no matter where they went, they got drunk, caused trouble, vandalized, and just destroyed everything in their path and partied while they did it. And I was like, well, we're in college, so that makes a lot of sense. The college is in Council Bluffs, so that makes even more sense. But they sure did go through a lot of PBR. The first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem, so I admit that was a stupid one. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, but this one time, my friends made me take a shot of an unholy concoction known as Rumplemints, and it was disgusting. It tasted like Altoids, fascism. And my other friends made me take a couple shots of something called 3 Wise Men. I don't know who they are, but fuck those guys. And a veteran comic told me one time, "Dude, you should smoke weed." And he followed it up with, "It would cure your cerebral palsy." There is no cure, so all that loud Alabama coochie cooch isn't going to do anything. And I've never done drugs, so the only tripping I do is over my own feet. Glad some of you were with me on that one. And I'm involved with local professional wrestling in the area as a ring announcer, and I've had a lot of weird experiences on these shows, much like local comedy. Like I've been on shows where the concession stand was literally a woman handing out gum. I've been on shows where the booming sound system was a microphone held up to a boombox. And I've been on shows where someone forgot the ring bell, so I actually had to go ding ding. And you know you're doing shows in a small town when the bar across the street from the venue has a one-legged, one-man band doing AC/DC covers. I'm a little disappointed he wasn't called Thunderstump, but what are you gonna do? And I'm still reeling off the adrenaline of refereeing in the middle of the woods by a river in Davenport, Iowa. Coincidentally, the name of the show was Deliverance. And there was a match one time featuring a tag team called the Yellow Dogs, and it was like how you're picturing it. The ears, the tails, the kids loved it. Except a certain ring announcer got humped by both members of that tag team. As if that wasn't bad enough, the entire crowd chanted, "Pete got laid! Pete got laid!" Not what I was expecting for a first time, but I'll take it since it was inside a ring. And you try to keep yourselves amused, especially now, and that's why I'm getting up to speed with the cool things that kids are saying these days. Like, I initially thought the term thirst trap was tricking someone who just really wanted a drink of water. Turns out that's not what that is. I had a huge beard, and I recently had to get it taken off because it was getting in the way of a lot. Because when I'm clean shaven, I love change. I need change. I'm always desperate for change. When I had a beard like that, I was desperate for change. Need some change? I'd appreciate some change. I took a bus trip recently, and the bus driver was one of those guys who'd been doing it forever, so he knew the job like the back of his hand. We would stop someplace, he would get out, he would yell the name of the place, like Des Moines, or Omaha, or Lincoln, and I was like, this guy must do that everywhere he arrives. He goes home, he sees his wife is there, and he goes, hell! And talking about trying to keep yourself amused, you used to, when you opened a Chinese fortune, add in bed to whatever it said, and one of my fortunes said, you will be sought after for your diplomatic skills. So I turned it into, you will be sought after for your diplomatic skills in bed. And sometimes when that kind of thing happens, I'm like, hey girl, let's me and you lay down, take off all our clothes, and rectify these foreign trade agreements. And I'm a computer nerd and IT guy, so my idea of sex talk is, may I insert my hard drive into your available ports so that our databases may interface? Don't get me wrong, it works. And anybody ever work in a call center, customer service? I worked in a call center for 12 years, and I still managed to maintain my sanity. And I found out pretty quick that you've worked in a call center for way too long when a girl hugs you, and the first thing out of your mouth is, thank you for holding me. It came in handy whenever I get in an argument, like someone's yelling at me, cussing up a storm, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Please try again. But I knew I was in trouble when I had a girl in bed with me, and that's not the joke. But we're laying there, we're making out, things are starting to progress, it's getting hot and heavy, and all of a sudden I panicked and went, before we continue, I must advise you that for quality purposes, this sex may be monitored or recorded. But I saved it, Big Canvas, because at the end I was like, Was there anything else I could do for you tonight? All right, that'll do it for me. I'm Pete Sakaris. You guys having a good time so far, or what? Let's bring up your next comic. He recently released a new special on